I'm Jeff Stouffer, founder of Stouffer Wealth Advisors, and this is the first course in our 3-course video series, Financial Lessons from the Kitchen. Planning for the future may seem daunting on a number of levels. You live an insanely busy and full life. Who has the time? The future seems abstract and less important to us than the demands placed upon us right now. Perhaps you're still paying kids' college tuition or involved caring for an aging parent. Maybe you're afraid the amount you have saved seems so far from where you think you should be at this stage of your life. You may see the importance of planning, yet need help getting focused. I'd like you to imagine planning for your future the same way you might plan a special dinner party for your best friends. What might that look like? Well, let's first start by thinking about those you're planning to have over. You really care about these people. They're important influences in your life, and life would not be nearly as rich or wonderful without them. So you're going to go all out for this dinner party. We'll have a fun, maybe even elaborate dinner menu. A bottle of wine or two that you've been holding on to for a special occasion. Clean up the house, or hopefully pay someone else to. You've got enough on your plate already. Break out the nice tableware and linen. Flowers, check. And why do we do all of this? Because we value our friends. It's about values. It may not be obvious, but our talks about money and planning for the future have to start with values. What is most important to us? What are we called to accomplish in our lives? Family, career, personal life. I'd like you to approach the planning of your future with the same sense of care and joyful anticipation you would in planning a dinner party to honor your best friends. In treating your future like this special event, you focus your efforts in a way that is tied to caring for those you care about, especially yourself. It becomes a process of clarifying and articulating what's most important to you, making it easier to make decisions, stay committed, and on course. Take just a second to let that sink in. Planning a dinner party is mostly a lot of fun. You begin to imagine all the people who will be there. People congregating in the kitchen, the good smells, tasting, chatting, and everyone glad to be able to share this precious time together. Extend this to retirement planning. Start with your imagination. Visualize where you would most like to live. What activities will fill your days? Be as specific as possible in this step. When you get up, where are you? Where are you eating breakfast? What's next in your day? This key step is easily overlooked. Why? Negative thinking, emotions, security issues, and fear of not enough can all derail the best part of planning, getting clear on what you want. The clearer your vision, the easier it will be to sustain your efforts and make steady progress toward it. Planning for the future requires your commitment. The more clearly you see it, the easier it is to stay committed. Another way visualization can come into play, we have this innate predisposition to value the present much more than our future. It's challenging to imagine our future selves and make the decision for that person we'll become. That is to say, a much older us. Just an amusing side note, when scientists used aging software so people could see themselves as much older, they were able to feel more connected to that future self and change their behavior accordingly. That is to say, save more money. People who are not planning for their future usually have a story around it. It may be the offhand comment, I'm going to work until I die, or I have so little saved, it's too late to start now. It's another way of saying there won't possibly be enough money. People need to be aware of these stories and ask themselves if they're still true, if they ever were, and if the story is serving you or not. My guess is that it is not. Let's take a closer look at this not enough issue. Many people have fear of not enough, and I've experienced this one myself. People tend not to know what enough is because they haven't looked closely enough at their needs and wants. What do you need, and how much money will it cost? It comes back to the notion of values and priorities. Now, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. Did anyone else just hear Mick Jagger? This brings me to the savings and investments we do have. These really are sources of future abundance. One of the things I remember appreciating about Chez Panisse is when you walk into the dining room, There will be some platters piled high with whatever came in from the farm that day. Glimmering fresh produce, maybe wild mushrooms, maybe a bloody slap of beef. Okay, I'm just kidding about the beef. But it felt bountiful, like a cornucopia of Thanksgiving. Imagine your savings and investments in a similar light, for they are bounty that you'll reap in the future. Why, you may ask, is it important to look at our savings in this way? With the not enough mindset, your savings are just sitting there, being insufficient. As bounty will reap in the future, we elevate their importance. We think about treating them with the care they deserve. We have a tendency to set it and forget it when it comes to our investments. In fact, this is a very common problem with 401k plans. It's common to not invest them, leaving them in the least risky investment, which pretty much guarantees very little growth, if any, or they get invested and then ignored. Treat your investments like you would this year's crop. Tend it, feed it, take steps to maximize the size of your harvest. Take care of issues that may harm the yield and growth. Taking care in this way, you'll be more likely to be enjoying the fruits of your labor for many years to come. So as a review, we recommend treating planning for your future in the same way you would plan a dinner party for your dearest friends. The extent of the effort and love you put into it is likely a reflection of the occasion, but also how you value them in your life. Planning your future in this way is valuing and honoring ourselves. Planning for the future begins with getting in touch with our values. Once our values and priorities are clear, a lot falls into place. Our commitment to succeed becomes stronger, and it's easier to make decisions. When a difficult spending opportunity arises, we are clear on what's most important. It's more a matter of making a conscious choice to put your money where it matters most. Planning for the future also implies valuing ourselves and our future self. Ask yourself, will my future self be happy with the choices I've made today? Remember, being able to see and empathize with your future self increases your likelihood to save. Remember to visualize or imagine your ideal day, what those years might be like in great detail. Get specific. It's very motivating. And remember, plan for the future with the same care and joyful anticipation you would in planning a party for your friends. Treat the savings and investments we do have as abundance will reap in the future. This mindset elevates their importance. Just as with tending a crop of veggies in the garden, our assets matter. An effort to care for them is needed to assure their protection and growth. Our assets matter for the role they play in caring for ourselves and those we love. There's much in life we can't control. We want our guests at our party to have a great time, but we don't know if everyone will get along. Regardless of how much money we have or how nice the china is, we put our best foot forward for our friends. Let's do the same for ourselves. Help our future self live with a sense of ease and security. Imagine 10, 20, or 30 years from now being greeted by your future self. Hi, you've made it. I've been expecting you. You've made some great choices. Come check out this view. Your next video will be arriving in just a few days. It will be about emotions and unconscious beliefs about money. We make so many financial decisions on a daily basis. Many of them are not conscious, but influenced by emotions and stories from our past. We'll be visiting some ideas from neuroscience and behavioral finance to address the simple question: are you spending your money on what matters most to you? Talk to you again in just a few days.